it was 2020, and I was sitting next to a tree, like you said, like not I wasn't looking for inspiration, like I was just up above my house, there's a lake that I can look down on. I was just kind of pausing in my busy day, and the word SEO came into my third eye, like, so big, and I went, "Really, God?" Like, "Really?" And I started teaching and doing search engine optimization, and it was so divinely guided, Michael, that I couldn't say no to it. Does that make sense? Like, it didn't
Absolutely.
make any sense to me at the time. Then COVID struck, and here I had a perfect, like, in-home business to run, so it was like, 4 months after that inspiration, I but the message came in so clear, unasked, like you said.
And it will come, it's freely given. And many people with a foundation of faith, they may be concerned about listening to thoughts that come into their mind. They, well, how do you know? How do you protect yourself to keep yourself from receiving any negativity or negative thoughts? And I advise that an affirmation, a strong affirmation, is really one of the best ways. And years ago, I was given an affirmation so long ago, I don't remember when I didn't have it. And it said, let no thoughts, ideas, or information be made known to my mind that does not come from God or his direct representatives. And I advise people, let that be your filter, your aura of protection, so that you have no doubt that anything that you're given, you're spoken to, that you receive in your mind as an incoming thought is always going to be positive and helpful to whatever it is that you're dealing with.
What's one of the most, enjoyable aspects of your work in the world?
Well, the best thing that I have going is that I'm able to share this information and let people know that they too have their own spirit guides, spirit teachers, angels, again, if that's your perspective, and that we are not alone. And I tell people, I said, there is no death. We never really die. It's just graduation. We ride around in these bodies the way we ride around in our cars. These bodies are just a vehicle to negotiate this physical plane. And then we cross over to a spiritual realm that exists adjacent to this physical plane. And we're separated from this realm by a veil, a frequency, a vibration. We don't really know what the medium is that separates us, but we do know that when we cross over, we simply abandon this physical form and we are then going to possibly an evaluation center where we get to look back on our life and see what we did, what we could have done better, how we treated people. We don't really know what waits us on the other side, but we
Pause for
know
a
that
sec.
it's
Pause for
temporary.
a sec. Um, so, what happened for me when you were saying that, um, was kinda curious, and so I just kind of I wanted you to maybe weigh in on for those people who find being in a physical body on the planet, maybe they're super conscious and they're super in tune, because I'd say probably 95% of the people listening to the show have a pretty high level of connectedness and consciousness. What if they're feeling sort of uncomfortable in their body or they run into hardships because they kind of relate so much to the spiritual? I know it's the opposite question of what you often get asked.
That's fine. There may be people so into the spiritual that they do feel uncomfortable in their physical body. But without this physical body, they couldn't interact and learn to make choices and decisions that affect our future once we cross over. So my advice would be just get over it. You have no choice. You're here, maybe not for a long time, but for a good time. And you are in this physical form for a reason. We have been assigned to a certain set of parents and a certain social station for whatever it is that we're supposed to learn in this lifetime.
What else would you like to share? I think you said you might have a passage you'd like to read.
On my website, spiritspeaks.com, again, there's the television interview that my mother gave in Cincinnati. And she was not really sure that she wanted to share these messages and teachings in a book. She had been praying about it. The messages themselves, especially in volume one, were pretty much personal messages to her and to me. Her spirit teachers would move in, give a message for her. Mine would then move in and give a message addressed to me. And when she was working around the kitchen one day, these words started to come into her mind. She knew it was incoming. She picked up pen and paper. She had beautiful handwriting. And she received a message that she felt was confirmation that she should put these messages and teachings in a book. May I share this message with you and your audience?
Yeah, sure. That's what I asked.
Emptiness is part of fulfillment. Let your resources fill the void left so the distinction of your purpose can be found. Expression is always self-explanatory. Therefore, look inside and anchor all your beliefs beside those still waters that will take away your troubled view and renew your strength to recapture that which was lost, but is now found to be adequate to pursue the course set before you. And as you reconcile your being to represent those qualities that have been left intact, God will see to it that although circumstances have been trying, to say the least, your weariness will disappear as clouds once removed allow the sun to shine to dispel the gloom and darkness that has pervaded your countenance. And as once described before, a token of this presence will be deposited to your account and books recorded in his name.
That's so beautiful. So eloquent.
Well, that's how these spirit teachers speak. Now, for those who are willing to be open to this information and establish that filter of protection, they may not immediately receive any information that deep and profound. But these messages and teachings in volume one, I'm actually looking for a new publisher. I have two more volumes to publish.
Mm,
And these messages and teachings, even though they were addressed to Wilma Jean and myself, it's like they're woven with a universal thread. And
mm.
everyone who has read these messages have said, this sounds like what I'm dealing with. This sounds like they're talking to me. And I tell people, I say, when you get the book, read each message once as it was given for Wilma Jean and then given for me. Then read that same message again as if it's being presented for you and see what hits. It's amazing what hits.
Isn't that lovely? My my second book was called Happiness Quotations, and it was basically I would write down a question and then I would let God speak through my hands. And then I would
That's
type in the
interesting.
answers. And even today, and this was in 2011, even today I can open the book to a different page and it's always like exactly what I need to hear, like exactly at that instant. Like, and the messages are so deeply beautiful that I know they're coming from a higher place through me, as opposed to like being specifically Erica-ish. Not that I'm not beautiful, but it was like so fascinating to me that the book is still so open to any page and it will tell you something, right?
That's the way these messages and teachings that Wilma Jean received. And
Yeah.
when she did this, it
Yeah.
was not channeling. I'm sure you know what channeling is. This was not automatic writing. She had set up an electric typewriter in her kitchen, and she would be led in her mind, we have a message for you. She would go in and sit down, light a candle, say a prayer, ask for protection because you are opening your mind. And she would see three or four words just float into her mind and hang there. They would not go away until she typed them. Once she typed those three or four words, they would just fade away and three or four more would show up. That's how she got these messages. Full page, single space typed, many times with no paragraphs. And the spirit teachers in these messages repeatedly refer to themselves in first person. We feel, we believe, we advise. Our view encompasses more than your view is permitted. One line in a message said, we hear the spirit cries above the words you speak. Who talks like that? I don't talk
Exactly.
like that.
So she was very far ahead of her time.
We are all connected. Again, we're all capable of receiving in this manner. They had found, these spirit teachers had found a willing receptacle in Wilma Jean, my mother. And I have even received messages. My grandmother pastored a small Pentecostal church just north of Cincinnati, and she would receive sermons dictated to her mind and thought that she would write down and preach in church, and even verses to songs. And
Mm.
I have explained this information before, and they said, well, your grandmother received, your mother received. They said, do you receive? And I said, yes. I said, I've been spoken to. And when I was first looking for a publisher, I was on a number of different publisher websites. One of the websites asked questions about your work. One of the questions was, what makes your material unique? Why would anyone want to read this? Great question. And I was sitting where I'm sitting right now at my computer. I didn't really even ask for an answer. I just relaxed my mind. And an answer started to be dictated to my mind. It was 12 lines long. And I just took it down. And when it got to the end, it stopped. And I have read this answer to a number of hosts on the air. More than one has teared up. May I share this answer with you and your audience?
That sounds great. And then when that's complete, then we'll have you tell us like how we can reach you and find out more.
So the question was, what makes your material unique? And this is the answer that I was given. The uniqueness of any material is in the manner in which it touches the soul. An open and searching mind pulls the soul and the body in which it inhabits onward and upward with hunger and determination in its quest for spiritual nourishment, ever mindful that the path upon which we walk is the path toward God. Lives lived, experiences endured, goals accomplished, and loved ones lost are all encounters upon that path. Strive always for the highest possible communication with our Heavenly Father. Believe in yourself as the Father within you is guiding, leading, directing, and comforting you upon this journey that we call life. Blessings be upon you as you walk your chosen pathway.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you for your joyful presence today. And how would you like people to find out more about you?
Well, my book is available on my website, spiritspeaks.com. It's available through all the Barnes and Noble stores. Any Barnes and Noble can order it. Ingram is my national distributor. So if anyone has an independent bookstore that they like to deal with, they all deal with Ingram. And it's also available on Amazon.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Erica. Thank you again for having me.